Okay, back with tutorial 8, and we're at the final 8.3 and discuss some limitations. Before we start talking here, let's get our diagram set back to where we need it. As you see, I went ahead and linked up oldies, which you should have done if you're following along. But let's go into layer properties, and we'll go ahead, set everything to visible. I like to lock everything here, bounding box, legend, and title, leaving truck, oldie, and Camaro unlocked in case I need to make changes. So apply and OK, and you should see the entire diagram. And again, you've got your links are still down here in the external data window. So you want to save it, of course. So we've saved the diagram, and what I want to discuss here is some things. I call them limitations. They really shouldn't be. I shouldn't use that term, but they seem to be limitations when you're actually working in the interface. For example, if I select one of my shapes, over here in the shape data window is where the data is reflected. And let's just go ahead and close the external data window, not to confuse things. I'm just right mouse click on it, and I guess I have to go over here where the header is, where it says external data, and select close. Or I could have done it from the view menu. But what happens is you can disperse this Visio file out. You can send it out. You don't have to send the data unless there's a specific reason to do so, because obviously your users would have to know how to link and refresh, etc., which we'll be doing in the next tutorial. But what I want you to see here is you can go in here and change this. Like I'm changing model to AB. I can change any of these values. Now that's fine and good, but keep in mind that's only within Visio. If we go back and turn on the external data window, there is no way for us to refresh data that we have changed within Visio back to our Excel document. Not within Visio. There's no way to do that, not automatically. So the limitation is that to maintain your data must be done in Excel, and then with periodic refresh in Visio. That's like I call it a limitation, because it seems as if we are making changes to our data source. There is no way, if you right mouse click on a record down here in the external data window, you can see there is no way to even launch the Excel file from Visio. None of these settings will let you do that. We're going to get into this in the next tutorial, but that's one of the main limitations I want to point out. The other one I want to point out is in the earlier tutorial when we designed our Visio stencil set, shown here on the left. If you wanted to change one of these master shapes, let's say for truck you wanted a different image instead of the red truck I've got there, and you've already created a diagram that has several instances of that shape already, Visio will allow you to change your Visio stencil set, of course, just as we've done before by going into Edit Stencil. However, if I go in and change a master shape in this Visio stencil set and then save it, the changes will only take effect on any future shapes that I create from that changed stencil set. In other words, these that if I change it to a blue truck on my stencil set, yes, when I drag one over, it'll be blue, but all these that I've already created will remain red, because they are based on the old version of the stencil set. So what I would have to do, if I wanted all my trucks blue, I'd have to delete each one of these instances and recreate them, and define their shape ID names again, and of course go back through and do my data linking. So those are two limitations you need to think about. There are ways to mitigate those problems. However, they're a little more advanced, because this data linking feature in Visio limits us on what we can do. So I wanted to point out those limitations to you. In the next tutorial, we're going to be talking about data and diagram management for our two files.